Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Apologies for the slightly wacky, dingy lighting. I'm back in the UK and it's longest night as I'm filming this. It's fucking miserable outside. And I did plan to order box lights and then I thought, it'd be all right. Because I've been in Portugal and it's pretty bright there. And it's not all right, but there we go. You can still see me. We're gonna have a nice chat today. So I actually wanted to talk to you guys about the phrase, health is wealth. Because I genuinely think this is one of the most important phrases to live by, and the fitness industry could honestly learn a lot if we just took that to heart a little bit more. So let's jump into it. Your most valuable resource is time. You can't buy it, you can't make more of it, and you can't save it. It's gonna just tick away every second the clock ticks. There's nothing you can do about it. Now I know some of you will be like, oh, but that doesn't mean it's the most valuable, money still is, but you probably trade your time for money if you get paid per hour, or you get paid a salary to work full time. You've literally dedicated an amount of time to your income. Therefore, it is quite literally your wealth. And when you also apply the fact that it can't be stored, bought, blah, 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 I truly believe it is your most valuable asset. So to me, a wealthy life is one where you spend your time doing what makes you happy. I think being happy is probably the ultimate goal in life. So spending your time doing things that make you happy is a wealthy life. It's spending your most valuable asset on the best feeling in life. So that's a wealthy life. And this is why health and fitness is so important, because health and fitness is the gateway to how you can spend your time. And it's not just focusing on one thing, there's not one specific element, but actually being a generalist, an all-rounder of an athlete is where you get the most freedom with how to spend your time. Health impacts how you spend your time more directly than anything else. Because other than sudden trauma, your health dictates when you die. Unless you're gonna get murdered, you get a disease, you get in an accident, your health deteriorating is what's going to kill you. And that means your health literally dictates how much time you ever have to spend. Now, of course, we will all face eventual decline. It's inevitable that we all get old and we all die. But the question is, when will that be? And how quickly will that decline come? If you're someone who has trained their whole life, eaten well, chances are you're going to push well into your 80s, even 90s, being completely physically independent and being able to live your life as you want. You're going to be given an awful lot of time. Compared to someone who spent their life severely overweight, drinking all the time, barely sleeping, barely training.
I've not seen my Willie in 2 years, which is long enough to declare legally dead.
They're not going to age gracefully. They're going to be in a bad shape by 50. And maybe actually, even if they lived as long as the person who's looked after themselves their whole life, they're going to have a shorter period of time with the freedom to spend their time as they want. That's why health is so important. And we should really focus our training and our lifestyle around building good health so we maximize our time, because that's how we maximize our wealth in life. Now, fitness matters because that's our actual ability to do as we want with the time that our health has given us. And it's not just for doing extreme things like going mountain biking or jiu-jitsu, which I do believe is very fun and I like to spend my time doing all sorts of shit. Fitness is great for that, but it really allows you to do the more mundane things, but the things that still matter. Because I'm fit and healthy, I've got good cardio, I'm able to take my mum out for a walk and we can actually spend time together and enjoy something together. If you're a parent, you will actually be able to play with your kids and you'll have the energy to keep up with them. You can take part in their life in a way that you just couldn't if you didn't have the fitness. If you have never done any cardio, you're gonna struggle to run around with your kids. You're not gonna play football with them as they grow up, and you'll miss out on those memories. And as you get older, the more you train, the better you train, the longer you maintain that fitness, it allows you to stay independent for longer. You can live very healthily into your 90s if you look after yourself. If you've got good fitness, you can still be doing the spring cleaning in your garage without needing to get someone in. And that independence is something you will truly value as you get older. Because once again, you get to spend your time as you wish. You're not forced to sit in a chair and let someone else do what you need to do. We see that health and fitness really allows us to spend our time as we want and therefore experience a wealthy life. Now, the reason I think it would be useful for the fitness industry to think about this a bit more is, unfortunately, we live in a period of time where steroid use is normalized because of a hyperfixation on physique, and there is a complete hyperfixation on how important your SBD numbers are, because a lot of what we see in the fitness industry is just powerlifting and bodybuilding. And what that's done is basically turned people away from training to be generalists and getting really, really hyper-specific. And in becoming hyper-specific, you let go of other athletic qualities. And the reality is, once your training stops building you to be a well-rounded athlete, then your training has moved away from creating health and longevity. If you are completely focused on your SBD and you stop doing cardio, well, you are still gonna have the same problems of a lack of fitness when you wanna spend your time running around with your kids. And an even more common example of this would just be, if you're not training mobility because all you care about is muscle growth, powerlifting, you're gonna get immobile, and that's when you'll start to have back issues, or maybe your knees will hurt, your shoulders will hurt. Life gets harder very, very quickly. So we really need to understand, as soon as we start hyperfixating and specializing for one specific goal, we let our other athletic qualities fall, and that moves us away from training for health. And that isn't to say that being a specialist is all bad. If your dream is to win the Mr. Olympia, and that is the one thing that will fulfill you in life, then I would say focus all of that shit on hypertrophy, be a bodybuilder, ignore the other stuff, and just focus on that, because maybe that is your calling. But for me, I really believe that spending my time in ways that make me happy is the most important thing in my life to live with true wealth, and only getting bigger muscles or getting a bigger SBD isn't that. It's my ability to go and climb a mountain. It's the ability to go swimming with my mates in a lake. It's taking part in sports I love doing. And it's the little things like being able to go out on a walk with my mum and not worrying that we're going on a hike. I would hate to be someone who spent my life in the gym, got really jacked, but because I've smashed a load of gear, I've not got on a treadmill or a fucking bike in years, that I look at a 3K hike and I'm worried because I can't go on it. Maybe you miss out on a date, maybe you don't spend time with your family, but that to me doesn't sound good. And I don't think it would sound good to most of you. So when we think about what we need to do for our training, we really need to focus on general health and, like I say, being a generalist. So that means eat a pretty decent amount of protein. Aim for 1 gram per pound of body weight. That's a really solid goal to have and it's achievable. Eat your fruit and veg. Eat whole foods. When you're training, train everything. Look to develop all your athletic qualities. Build your cardiovascular system. Build your strength. Do some sprints. Do some jump work. Do some mobility. You name it, you should probably be working on it. And that is going to be the best way that you become a well-rounded generalist athlete. That's going to allow you to experience a truly wealthy life. Thank you for listening to that, guys. It's just a bit of a rant I've been going on in my head, but it really reinforces to me why it's so important to train to be a generalist. And obviously at Different Breed, that's one of the things we love to promote. We believe everyone should be training to be an athletic freak, the most athletic version of themselves. This is one of the reasons why, because it allows you to live with true wealth. So thank you for listening, guys. Hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I will catch you next week.
Are you a rich man?
When you mean rich, what you mean?
You have a lot of possessions? A lot of money in the bank?
Position make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life, forever.